Welcome to the International Great Black Read Aloud Day 2024. It is Detective and Mystery Day, day 19, and we are excited to be here with you tonight, where we are giving voice to words written by Black people all around the world. And we do this for educational purposes, simply to inform, to help inform, I should say, because there are many others out sharing books. There are book clubs that you can join, there are all kinds of reading groups. We're here doing it for educational purposes, giving awareness, more awareness to the vast and diverse of literature that is published by those of African descent all across the African diaspora. So we are excited about doing what we're doing. It's our fourth year, and we hope that you have been enjoying our read alouds. Well, before we get started with our selection for tonight, we want to remind you to subscribe to our website. Go to greatblackreadaloudday.org, hit that subscribe button, put your email in, and don't miss a thing that is happening all year long. We also want to invite you to follow us on social media at Black Read Aloud. That's our handle on all of our platforms. And so we want you to stay engaged with us as we plan to keep you engaged this year, a lot more than we did last year. So we are, and the previous years as well, but we want you to stay engaged, and we're going to do our best to keep you engaged as we are doing different things throughout the year. Well, we have told you before and numerous times here that we are partners in literacy with Fresh Book Festivals, and Fresh Book Festival is coming up this week. This Thursday, it kicks off with the Fresh Film Festival, which we held on the campus of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And Fresh Book Festival believes that literacy is a legacy, and we believe that as well. And so, in our partnership with Fresh Book Festivals, we want to invite you to come out to Daytona Beach this weekend and enjoy 3 days of wonderful film and books. We've got authors, workshops, all kinds of things for everybody to enjoy for the festival. So February 22nd through the 24th, you can get your tickets at freshbookfestivals.net. Okay. Well, our selection for today, which is day 19, Detective and Mystery, our selection is uh, a, a, a thrilling gripper kind of book. And so our selection is, and I'm going to put it up, is Her Name is Night. And that is our detective mystery crime fiction thriller selection for today. And I'm going to go ahead and put the banner up. I realized the other day that I forgot to show the covers for our Children's Lit Day. And so um, they are on our website. You can find them by simply clicking the reading list at the top of our website, which is greatblackreadaloud.org. We're going to put that up, readaloudday.org. Put that back up. And so we are getting ready to read. And our selection again is Her Name is Night by Yasmin Angoe. After. Nico cast one more look at herself, making sure the swim cap was securely on her head, the waterproof earpiece embedded in the diamond stud earrings she wore. She bent down, grabbing the fluffy white towel next to her, making sure her tool was nestled within its folds. Nigerian businessman and fixer Adam Mofor liked to take a swim early in the morning, before the community pool began to fill with patrons preparing for classes or practicing on Nigeria's Olympic team. She padded out of the locker room toward the inside pool. She could hear the marked splashes echoing in the hallway as he took his laps. Smelled the chlorine before spying the blue of the water with the black painted lines on the pool floor. She stopped at the entrance, scanning in case anyone was there, and she'd have to take them out too. The place, as she'd anticipated, was empty. A disembodied voice said through her comms, Security is doing rounds. You're clear. She laid her towel on the tiled floor next to the edge of the pool as Mafur approached, slicing through the water with the grace of an athlete. From the intel she'd received, Echo knew swimming was a passion of his. He should have stuck to that, rather than selling out the tribe and passing state secrets to their enemies for his financial benefit. Wasn't her concern if he was truly guilty or not. The tribe had marked Mafur for dispatch, and she was there to see it through. His strong arms cut through the water in a breaststroke. She readied herself. When his fingers were about to touch the pool's edge, she struck out, yanking him toward her so she could wrap her arm around his neck. She lifted his head above water, using one hand to prop herself along the edge as she brought him in, thrashing and choking in surprise. She used that surprise to pull him farther while she plucked the syringe from the towel and injected the needle into his neck. She adjusted, leaning her weight on him as she plunged his head below the surface. His arms shot out, beating at her in weak attempts to get her off. She could hear his garbled yells as his body convulsed. She held on with a vice like grip until her mark's thrashing began to wane, till the gurgle stopped bubbling to the surface, till the stimulant took effect, stopping his heart. Then Echo let him float away. She got out of the water, wrapped the emptied hypodermic back in the towel, and returned to the locker room, where she changed her clothes and dumped the towel, her suit and cap, and the empty syringe in her duffel to dispose of elsewhere. She waited until Mafur's security team passed the locker room on their way back to the pool to check on their boss. When she was clear, she slipped out and walked the opposite direction up the stairs and out the front entrance. She was approaching the car she'd lifted when Witt, head of the dispatch division of the tribe, spoke through her comms. Nicely done, as usual. Thanks. She buckled her seatbelt. Her mouth twitched with pleasure at the rare compliment from her mentor. Then she turned the ignition and drove off amid the blare of sirens as paramedics and police raced to the scene. After. Is there a problem, Dad? Nana asked, watching her older sister pace the floor of Nana's quaint little home. Ellen Elin rarely came to this part of the of I'm sorry, I apologize. Elin rarely came to this part of Miami, but today was an exception. She must have been pretty upset to make the trek from Coconut Grove to Citrus, slumming it, as Nana's upper crust sister liked to say. In the next breath, after the insult, Aylin would comment that Nina's home was the calmest place she knew. It was peaceful because Nina made it so. When she walked through her front door, she was no longer Echo, only Nina. From their secure line, Noble Knight's smooth voice, laced with an edge of irritation, came through the speaker so both his daughters could hear. The problem is that this is the job you've been given, and it needs to be done, he said. Handling the attorney now will be a show of good faith to our incoming council member. We need the deal he's bringing us to go through with no complications. Aiden glared at Nina but said nothing. But the marks have federal attorney, Nina was thinking. And what did Dad mean by show of good faith? Since when did the tribe dispatch people as a show of good faith? She didn't like it one bit, but who was she to question their father? He'd never given her a reason to doubt him, not since she was 15 and he and her mom had adopted her off the streets. Still, the thought niggled in her mind. This mark seems out of the norm, no? Nina asked when they'd ended the call. Out of the norm for us. I mean, we're not mercenaries. Why the second guessing? Ellen countered, rifling through her bag. Do you have something better to do than the job? Sit out in the hot sun in your backyard or go play with your best bud with the crude name? Kegel, Nina supplied helpfully. He was her Kegel. Nina supplied helpfully. He was her neighbor 3 doors down and also the head of a large local gang. I ask because this guy isn't our typical Mark. Ellen let out a burst of exasperated air. I could use a smoke. You're stressing me out. Ellen produced her pack of cigarettes and lighter. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe the guy's a perv or cricket. That seems to be the standard to get the. She completed the sentence by slicing a well manicured finger across her throat. Nana leaned forward from her perch on the couch, resting her elbows on her knees. You're quite rude, you know that? You wouldn't have me any other way. Ellen broke out into a magnificent grin and wouldn't stop until her sister shook her head in defeat. Is this guy really more crooked than the man he's prosecuting? It had been all over the news. Alleged money launderer Dennis Smith was to be tried on RICO charges and witness intimidation. You know how it all goes down, Elin said. Council makes a decree and sends up the names. I work the intel at network. Dispatch carries out their orders. We never question the council's reasons. She shook her head in concession. Anyway, Smith's dealings are questionable at best, and while the tribe wouldn't normally get involved, they're doing it to secure our new council member. Politics. Politics isn't what the tribe is supposed to be about, Nina griped. Yes, well, plot twist. This member happens to be the father of the man I'm screwing, so there's that. Nina scoffed, screwing? Is this an arrangement? A traditional pairing like back home? Did the man's father present goats and liquor to dad? Helen shot her middle finger. No, he brought a country. She deflated, suddenly looking tired, or perhaps annoyed. The council wants Lucy and Douglas wants Smith, for whatever reason, to remain prison free. It's easier to take the lawyer out and keep the man happy. And it's cheaper and less time consuming than buying off a jury. The words were cold and callous coming from Elan's lips. To be the killed just because it was the easier choice. It didn't make the tribe sound inspirational when the advancement of the African diaspora was supposed to be their ultimate goal. It made them sound selfish, greedy, wicked. Dispatching this federal attorney, this Cortland Baxter, sounds a bit self serving, doesn't it? Nina ventured. Ellen gazed at the cigarettes longingly, then gave her sister a pouting look, but Nina shook her head. Ellen released a frustrated sigh and shoved them back in her bag. Douglas has close ties with one of the countries that have been hard to bring on the team. So if making the new guy happy means the African Tribal Council secures this country so we can shore up imports and exports from the coast, then yeah, the tribe is self-serving. She twirled her ponytail of long box braids around her fingers, studying Nana for the first time since she'd arrived. Are you all right? Real talk. Nina shrugged. It was the only answer she could give at the moment because she didn't know how she felt. She was thinking about how the attorney's dispatch felt like a break from the tribe's norm. It wasn't her job to like or dislike any dispatch. It was her job to carry it out as commanded, and doubting the organization she pledged her life and loyalty to was what made her uncomfortable. Anyway, Ellen said, don't think too much on it. It's just another job. Focus on the Cuban dispatch coming up in a couple of nights. I can't make the dignitary party that night, so you need to attend that too, as yourself. Ellen, Nina felt her anxiety heighten a notch at the thought of having to attend a pretentious party as the Knight's youngest daughter. You know, I don't care for those people. Excuse me. The party plus the Cuban is double duty. Nina paused, thinking some more. I can go alone, right? Ellen ignored her. We'll call in the rest of the local team. She ticked off the jobs on her fingers. You just completed the Nigerian dispatch. The Cuban is next, and then the attorney. After that, little sis, you need to lie low for a few months. Whit's on board with it. He's hated having to assign you these back to back jobs, but it's been difficult trying to square all these different factions away. And the party? I prefer to go without a date. Ellen wouldn't Elin wouldn't answer, but her face said it all. She clumped in her thick-heeled sandals to the front door, throwing it open just as Kegel's fist rose to knock, his other hand bearing a container of lemon pepper wings. It was Nana and Kegel's thing, their shared love of this wing flavor. Nana saw the hopeful look on his face, the puppy dog way he looked at Elin, on whom he had a major crush. He liked seeing Elan's car and thought to use the wings as an excuse for coming over, rather than waiting for Nina to pop up at his home like she normally did. Nina didn't have the heart to tell him he and Elan would never happen. Look, Ellen said warily, the cavalry's here. Kegel was handsome, even Nina thought so, with a head full of long locks, an immaculate beard, and brown eyes that betrayed how much of a softy he was. What? I just walk in on? Let me read that again. What I just walk in on, he asked. Nothing, lovey. Ellen cooed, trailing her long nails lightly along the angle of his jaw. He visibly melted from her touch. Stuff like that tickled her. Dana barely heard their exchange, deep in her own thoughts about the attorney, about her two upcoming jobs, about this party she didn't want to go to. Do I have to take a date? She didn't like surprises. Ellen slid past an open mouthed Kegel, gracing him with a heart stomping smile. She called over her shoulder, naturally, but better pick out one before I do. And so this has been our selection for tonight. A little shorter tonight, um, because this is part of a series, and honestly, it is, I think you will enjoy it. So if you're looking for a crime thriller, detective mystery crime novel, her name is Night. And our selection has been Her Name is Night by Yasmin Angoe, and it's part of a three-book series. I think there are three books in it so far. And highly recommend a great read. And this has been day 19 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. I'm going to go ahead and put back up our selection for tonight since I don't have a physical copy in my hand. And our selection for tonight for Detective Mystery is Her Name is Night by Yasmin Angoe. And you can see it on our website. And I want to let you know that Miss Yasmin is Miss Angoe. I believe that's the way I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope so. She is a first generation Ghanaian American, and so she is of Ghanaian descent living in America. And we want to remind you that we are here at the International Great Black Read Aloud Day reading, and we want you to join us. So if you get a chance, go ahead, pull out your favorite book for one of our remaining days and read, tag us, introduce yourself, introduce the author, make sure you show your title in the book if you can, and join us for tomorrow for day 20, which is forgiveness. And we will have a wonderful selection for you. We are almost through our regular month of reading aloud, but we will certainly be back with you tomorrow. And we're going to keep reading, and we'll be reading all throughout the year as well. We have many occasions to read. And so, um, I'm glad you joined us tonight for day 19 detective mystery slash crime. And our selection again has been Her Name is Night. And we will see you tomorrow for day 20 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day 2024 edition. We'll see you tomorrow and have a wonderful night wherever you may be in the world. I hope you've got a good book and a nice light, as my friend likes to say, and that you are escaping a little bit if you need be. Bye bye.